Hello and welcome. Tonight, Sokoto State joins list of states launching security outfits to tackle rising insecurity in the country. Governor Ahmad Aliyu vows Community Guard Corps will ensure safety of residents. Vice President Kashim Shettima restates federal government's commitment to rescuing over 200 students as well as a teacher abducted by bandits from their school in Benue State. Remains of former Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC, Herbert Wigway, his wife Chizoba, and son Chizi, laid to rest in Isioko, River State after a week-long funeral rites. And Sweden and Canada promised to resume funding for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, amid worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
And on Business News tonight, Economist Intelligence Unit revises economic growth forecast for Nigeria from 2.2 to 2.5%, highlighting key risks to attaining economic stability and development in the months ahead.
And on Sports News tonight, Kai Havertz scores late as Arsenal earned a statement win over Brentford, which puts them top of the table.
We begin with security matters and the launch of a security outfit, the Sokoto State Community Guard Corps, as part of Governor Ahmad Aliyu's administration's efforts in tackling banditry in the state. The launch and the passing out ceremony of members of the Community Guard Corps was attended by some other northern governors who used the opportunity to ask the federal government for more support in combating the menace of insecurity. Governor Aliyu explained that the initiative is to assist conventional security agencies in ending banditry and other violent crimes, while calling for community involvement in the effort.
It's no longer news that insecurity in the northwest geopolitical zone is getting worse, with frequent kidnappings and killings by bandits, disruption of economic and social activities in most of the communities in the region. However, some of the state governments are responding to this challenge, which is why the Sokoto state government is today officially launching its own Community Guard Corps. Members of the Community Guard Corps display skills acquired during their training to show their preparedness to combat banditry and other criminal activity in Sokoto State in support of conventional security agencies. Some other northern governors are also present in solidarity with Sokoto state government, showing they are resolute in their unity to fight insecurity in the region.
We have the northwest, we have the northeast, and we have the north central together. And all of us are committed to working together to fight the insecurity that is affecting the development of our people. And I'm speaking on behalf of the governors that you should be rest assured we will do all what we can do possible to ensure that we bring back peace into our northern part of the country.
Other leaders in the region, including the Sultan of Sokoto, also pledged their support while calling on everyone to join in bringing an end to the security threats.
It's confusing to everybody that somebody who claims to be a good Muslim or a good Christian will pick up arms and kill innocent people, rob innocent people, and claim that he's doing so in the name of God and he will enter paradise. Definitely you will not enter paradise. Because Almighty Allah said, to kill a soul, to take a life of a soul is like taking the life of all humanity. So you cannot kill anybody unjustly. So it's important for us religious leaders to look at such issues and see what we can do. Because time is going and time waits for no one. Things are getting worse and worse. And programs like this definitely will help governments to alleviate the suffering of people through these interventions.
For Governor Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State, the setting up of the Community Guard Corps is a dream come true to complement the efforts of security agencies in ensuring the safety of residents.
Our current challenges can hardly be addressed by conventional security due to the number of terrain factors and the community setup. Hence the need for communities to involve security decisions that affect their day-to-day lives pursuit. It is needless to say that the community knows their people and are most familiar with their terrain.
With Sokoto State now added to the list of states that have launched their own security organizations, many are hopeful that the initiative will indeed tackle insecurity in the region.
Prior to the passing out of the Community Guard Corps, bandits reportedly kidnapped 15 Sangaya school children and one woman at Gidan Bakuso in Gada local government area of Sokoto State. The State Police Command has confirmed the incident, saying 16 people were abducted by the bandits who were said to have invaded the town in the early hours of today. It was gathered that as the bandits made their way out of town, they sighted the school children rushing into their rooms and kidnapped a number of them. This attack came hours before the Sokoto State government held a ceremony for the passing out of its security outfit aimed at tackling the menace of banditry in the state. Still on security matters, but this time in Kaduna State, where barely 24 hours after bandits attacked the LEA Primary School and Government Secondary School, Kuriga in Jukun local government area, gunmen have attacked a mosque in Biringwari local government area of the state, killing 2 worshippers in the process. The police authorities in Kaduna State have not yet confirmed the incident, but a community leader told Channels Television that the bandits invaded the mosque at about 2 p.m. on Friday and opened fire on the worshippers. According to the source, the Muslim worshippers were observing the second round of the Salat prayers when they were attacked, forcing the others to flee the scene. Meanwhile, the Kaduna State government has denied reports in a section of the media that it has engaged a private negotiator to facilitate the release of the 287 kidnapped students of LEA Primary School and Government Secondary School in Jukun local government area of the state. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mr. Mohammed Shehu, describes the report as false. The statement explains that the state government did not hire any private negotiator, neither is it contemplating making such moves. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima and Governor Uba Sani have met with the relatives of the abducted students in Benue State. Addressing the Kuriga community leaders and relatives of the kidnapped victims, the Vice President assured them that the federal government, led by President Bola Tinubu, is determined to ensure that all the abducted children are rescued.
I'm here at the behest of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to emphasize, to solidarize with the government and people of Kaduna over the sad incident of the kidnapping of our school kids. The President was personally pained by what happened, and he has instructed the security agencies to leave no stone unturned until we return our kids back to their parents. He is in regular contact with the governor of Kaduna State. Today so far, he has spoken with the governor 4 times. He has spoken with me 3 times about how far with the rescue of the kids.
In vain, Governor Sani said he remains optimistic that all the children will return unhurt, while commending the federal government for its support.
the incident happened, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and His Excellency the Vice President, as well as the security agencies in the country have been working closely with Kano State government to ensure the safe return of the children. Here in Kaduna, we have been working with the community as well as the leadership of Chukun local government to ensure that we collaborate with the relevant security agencies to ensure that all the children return back home safely. At this juncture, I would like to also caution the media to be very careful in the way they make their own reports, because at this critical time, we have to avoid politicizing this very unfortunate incident. What is important to us is the safety of the children.
Staying with insecurity in the north, Governor Bala Mohammed is talking tough, warning bandits to steer clear of Benue State, declaring that there will be no safe haven for them there. Governor Mohammed has expressed confidence in the state joint security team, which is fully capable of flushing out criminals. He made these remarks while officially handing weapons seized from the bandits by the local hunters to the police command. Our correspondent, Akeredolu, has this report.
As part of ongoing efforts to combat the menace of banditry and kidnapping in Benue State, a significant cache of weapons has been recovered. Among the items seized are locally made rifles and considerable amounts of ammunition. Over 100 chainsaws were also retrieved during the operation. These chainsaws were being used by individuals involved in illegal tree felling in the Yankari forests. The recovery of these weapons was made possible due to the efforts of local hunters, led by the DG of Benue State Vigilante and local hunters, Aliyu Umaru. The strong collaboration between the local hunters and the police in Benue State has resulted in the neutralization of numerous bandits. These recovered items is handed over to the state government. Governor Mohammed then passed them to the appropriate authorities, the police. During the receipt of these exhibits, the Commissioner of Police emphasizes the vital role of community policing in ensuring the safety and security of citizens.
My vision for effective policing of Benue State will rest on active community engagement. There is no gainsaying that community policing is the cornerstone of a safer society. I am wholeheartedly committed to operationalizing community policing from a concept into an indispensable operational tool. In community engagement, the police should be visible, accessible, and responsive to the public at all times.
Governor Mohammed warns the bandits to steer clear of Benue State, reiterating his commitment to maintaining law and order.
We are assuring bandits and miscreants and charlatans that any time they set foot in Benue, within 24 hours I will know. And within 48 hours, our security agencies will know. If they want to live and enjoy life, they should leave us alone. We assure the people of Benue, with the kind of leadership we are having from the CP, at the community, security committee, and all the organizations, definitely we will work hard to make Benue safe and secure. And I pledge my government's commitment to make sure we continue to give you support to do it.
He also urged the police to properly dispose of some of the weapons by rendering them inoperable. Akeredolu, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Governor Hyacinth Alia asked politicians to stop politicizing insecurity in Benue State. Plus, remains of former Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC, Herbert Wigway, his wife Chizoba, and son Chizi, laid to rest in Sooko, Benue State. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Sooko State joins list of states launching security outfits to tackle rising insecurity in the country. Governor Akeredolu vows Community Guard Corps will ensure safety of residents. Vice President Kashim Shettima restates federal government's commitment to rescuing over 200 students as well as a teacher abducted by bandits from their school in Benue State. Remains of former Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC, Herbert Wigway, his wife Chizoba and son Chizi laid to rest in Isioko River State after a week-long funeral rites. And Sweden and Canada promised to resume funding for UN agency for Palestinian refugees amid worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Governor Hyacinth Alia has reiterated his call for politicians to stop politicizing security crisis in Benue State. The governor made this call when he visited a community in Ukum local government area for an assessment of the impact of the latest attack in the area. He gave the assurance that his administration will ensure peace returns there and urged those sponsoring the militia gangs to allow government take charge of the security situation in the area.
The road leading to the quiet farming community in Ukum local government area of Benue State is not welcoming. Governor Hyacinth Alia is in the community for an on-the-spot assessment of the violence that led to the death of some members of the community and to receive briefings from the community leaders on what led to the killing. There have been several narratives on what transpired in the community, and the governor wants to put the record straight.
This is one case that I will take bold to invite politicians here or in Abuja particularly to step back. If you are sponsoring any militia gang, which some of them are, and the traditional leaders have pointed out, let them step back. Their communities, the families in their local governments here are larger than them. The person that went out there to cry wolf has to come back and answer to his traditional rulers, tender apologies to me as the governor of the state, and then to the entire people of the state. I'm happy that he went to let the nation understand what is attacking us, what our challenge is. But he didn't present the facts. He didn't tell them the build up to all this.
The insecurity in the area is exacerbated by the activities of militia groups and armed herdsmen, and that is impacting food production in the state.
You know that I have now relocated my ancestral home. I am the grandson of Zakibiam, but I'm not in Zakibiam now because of the fear of kidnapping or the Fulani herdsmen. I left Zakibiam. Whereas before I used to produce close to 300, 200 bags of cassava flour, and I produced not less than 500 tubers of yam in my farm. Where I left Zakibiam now, I left more than 1,000 stands of pumpkin, and nobody is to take care of it for the fear of kidnapping and bandits and the Fulani herdsmen. So this security issue is what federal government should look into it.
Meanwhile, another attack in Wando and Baikyo community in Gwere East local government area left 16 farmers dead.
The incident started or lasted about 3 or 4 hours. About 16 that so far we have recovered them from the bush where they had killed because they were running helter-skelter. So the sporadic shooting could kill somebody somewhere that you may not go and pick exactly. But we are still searching for it now. Right now, the security operation is a wide stroke. They are in the bush with our people looking for some that they may be injured And the presence of security will also give confidence.
The Benue State governor appreciates the proactive approach of security agencies in the area and urges the people for more collaboration.
Away from security matters, family members, friends and associates today bid a final farewell to former Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings, Mr. Herbert Wigway, along with his wife, Chizoba, and son, Chizi, who were laid to rest in their hometown in Rivers State. The solemn ceremony held at the Redeemed Christian Church of God was also attended by top officials from the public and private sector. Our correspondent, Deborah Agbalama, has this report.
The final funeral proceedings begin with a Christian wake-up on Friday in his hometown, Sooko local government area of Rivers State. Coming after several days of events in Lagos to honor the former Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC, Herbert Wigway, his wife Chizoba, and son Chizi. A day after, the final part of the journey to culminate in the interment takes place at the Redeemed Christian Church Provisional Headquarters in Sooko. Among those here to pay their last respects are family members, friends and associates, well-wishers from within and outside the country, top government functionaries, including a representative of the president, governors of Rivers, Abia and Lagos states, former governors, captains of industries, amongst others. Great is thy faithfulness.
Praise the Lord.
In his sermon, the presiding pastor emphasizes the importance of living an exemplary life as he reminds attendees that death is a necessary end which comes without warning.
Man sees death as something bad or terrible. But how does God see it? He sees it for his own children, precious homecoming.
After the service, the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, describes Mr. Wigway as a national asset.
It's just that he died. That thereafter he died, which means no matter how long he lived, he died. But here is a young man who left so much impact that generations unborn. He gave food to so many people in Nigeria and globally. Many countries in Africa, even in Dubai, other places. He was in China. He did a lot. He put food on the table of so many people in the world. So I regarded him as a global citizen, an icon of the world that we have lost. And it's very unfortunate that he died together with his wife and his first son. And that's the tragedy that I pray that Nigeria should never witness this again.
Relatives and friends also share their thoughts on the virtues of the former boss of Access Holdings PLC.
In all his achievements, Herbert is a very humble person. I'm sure Nigerians didn't know much about him until now. He's a very compassionate person. Herbert has several kids that he sees through school, even very distant people. His foundation, How Foundation, has been a platform that he has used to reach out to families, especially in my community, Shubo.
He was a great man. He did things, fairly in a hurry as if he knew that he had limited time. But he did things with such perfection, that left the rest of us, wondering if Herbert was like, the rest of us.
This is a man you cannot find it difficult to talk about Herbert in the past, to say this was a man. But nevertheless, because it's a man that came to the world, it's like he came with a mission, and he saw, conquered, and delivered as well. So his existence in the world has made so many meanings to some people.
Herbert Wigway, who died exactly a month ago in a helicopter crash in California, United States of America, left several legacies situated in his hometown, as well as a charity foundation that has impacted on several lives. Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the family members at this time. In infrastructure development, the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi, has threatened all the 14 contractors currently handling road projects with appropriate sanctions, including revocation of the contract. Mr. Umahi gave the warning after meeting with Governor Godwin Obaseki at the Government House in Benue City, the Edo State capital, adding that he has been inspecting the progress of the work on the East-West Road. On his part, Governor Obaseki advocated the use of concrete technology in the construction of roads.
Come in now. I told them that, and all contractors must know this, when we have done over 10 meetings, appealing to them, talking to them on how to move these projects forward, because of the sufferings of the people, because of the commitment of Mr. President, and you're doing otherwise, we have to tell the public so that the public will know that it's not the federal government, it is the contractor. And that is the issue with SKCC. And we've agreed to start the projects on 3 sections. And I'm back here in 2 weeks. If it's not started on 3, in fact, we have issued warning letter to SKCC, and I've directed it should be copied to their banks, to the banks, so that they will know that we will terminate the job after the warning letter, then we issue notice of termination, and we definitely terminate the job. We'll be very courageous to do that. Contractors must not dictate for us.
It's important that we all come together, work together to make sure that these roads are built. And in doing so, we have to remove the encumbrances. What are the encumbrances? First, the way we contract to build these roads, the people we use to build the roads, the materials we use to build the roads. Today, we are witnesses to the major phenomenon, and we knew growing up. So how do we respond to climatic change in terms of our road? We can't continue to use, expensive asphalt. We should now think of using more sustainable local materials. We produce cement, we produce some steel. There's really no reason why we cannot begin to move towards utilizing more concrete in building our roads for sustainability, so that they can last long.
As activities gather momentum ahead of the governorship election in Ondo State, supporters of the incumbent governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, have expressed confidence that he will be re-elected in the poll. They made the assertion during the inauguration of the Lucky Aiyedatiwa campaign organization Foot Soldiers in Ondo West local government area of the state. The conveners of the campaign organization say the Foot Soldiers are to go from house to house in all the communities in Ondo West local government area to sell the governor's aspiration.
This is a man who was deputy governor of Ondo State, and he was sworn in daily after death of our former governor. In the last 2 months, he have done well. Contractors who have abandoned site have gone to site, pensioners have been paid, a lot of tremendous changes have happened. And we look at it and look, this man is concerned about our welfare. This man has taken up the leadership of our party. PDP and other parties have been decapitate our party in the last 2 months. And we said, let him continue in the next 4 years. So that he has continued the legacy of his late boss. Akeredolu has started well. It's unfortunate that he died. But let's move on. So that is why all of us are here. We have been moving from one local government to another. Maybe here now we are going to those who are nowhere. So that is to tell our people that to showcase what he has done, and to mobilize our party people, and that look, come April this year when we are going to conduct our party primary, let's invest that we are as our flag bearer.
Still ahead on the news at 10. Economist Intelligence Unit revises its economic growth forecast for Nigeria from 2.2 to 2.5%, highlights risk to economic stability in the months ahead. That's on Business Week. Please stay with us. Welcome back. In Benue State, the House of Assembly has confirmed and cleared 12 commissioner nominees appointed by Governor Hope Uzodinma. The screening came after the governor sent their names to the House of Assembly.
Lawmakers in the Benue State House of Assembly filed into the hallowed chambers for the day's plenary session. The agenda of the day is a screening of some commissioner nominees from the governor.
If there is any other place, the principle of taking a vow will apply in honesty for the contributions for them that have brought to this seat before now. This is the opportunity we have to apply it because we have put in so much to this government. And I believe most of us here now, if we agree with me, please let's urge our brothers to allow him to take a vow.
While some nominees, like the immediate past Commissioner of Information and Strategy, Declan Emelumba, a former federal maker, Bede Eke, and a former state lawmaker, Modestus Osakwe, are permitted to take a bow and leave. Others are drilled by the lawmakers.
I studied political science at the University of Benin, and I also did a master's program at the University of Lagos in International Relations, after which I took a postgraduate diploma course in Lagos Times Institute of Journalism.
I want to ask you, assuming you are not reformed as commissioner in that same ministry, what mechanism do you have in place to monitor the progress beyond handing over of computers, training, and of course, equipping? What measures, what do you have in place administratively to ensure that those youths are actually empowered beyond those gifts?
If you go to the ministry, all the activities that you have laid out with the timeline attached to them, that are still ongoing, even with civil servants who have not been really trained to carry out these activities. But the policy is so simple, and it's a mirror that you can look at, you know the next action to take. And these actions, the expected outputs and the expected impacts are well spelled out.
At the end of the session, the Speaker affirms the decision of the House with his gavel.
All those in support that the commissioner nominee, Honorable Onyo Chawinna, be confirmed as a commissioner. Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Aye.
All 12 commissioner nominees screened are cleared, and they await their different portfolios to kick off work.
The Taraba State government says it has fully implemented the 35% affirmative action formulated by the National Gender Policy in 2006. The policy provides for the allocation of 35% of all government appointments to women. The Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Gabor Ketaps, made this known at an event to mark this year's International Women's Day, adding that the state is out to ensure equity in line with the National Gender Policy.
This campaign by women in Taraba State to mark the 2024 International Women's Day comes with mixed feelings. While they celebrate the full implementation of the 35% affirmative action by the state government, the women are worried about the increasing number of rape cases and other gender-based violence in the state.
Yeah, you know, the issue of rape is something that is a daily occurrence. The problem is just that some people don't like reporting, but But from those who report, it's a daily event. And that is why we are asking every woman to send her daughter to school. And then some of the challenges the girls are also facing is because they lack mentorship. They don't have women who have made it and are trying to lead them forward. These young girls need mentors. We said a woman to 5 girls. You need to mentor these girls to get to a place they want to be.
We will look at the challenges of women. It is so alarming. The issue of climate change is one big problem the women of Taraba State are facing. We want the SGS that is here, that you will carry our cry and make sure that issue of climate change is being addressed in Taraba State. We cannot go far to fetch water. We cannot go far to look for firewood. A lot
was presented by the Commission appreciation of his doggedness in making 9 out of his 23 commissioners women, a proof, she says, confirms his zeal for inclusiveness. The wife of the governor stressed that issues of marginalization against women will soon be a thing of the past to allow women fulfill their potentials in the state.
The women I have seen here today have shown us that we are ready for more, and together we can make a positive change. As we honor the spirit of inclusion, let us reaffirm our commitment to amplifying the voices of all women in Taraba and the world at large, especially those who have been marginalized. Let us create space where every woman, regardless of background, regardless of circumstance, to feel valued, respected, and empowered to fulfill her potentials. I would love to remind us that together we will build a society that we want, and together we will make the changes that we want to make. It is not yet time to rest. It is time for us to work. All hands must be on deck. We have a lot of work to do. We should not just fold our hands, but we should join hands together to work.
Just as the 35% affirmative action is already in place, the state government says it is also looking forward to implementing equity in public office appointments.
The governor is talk and do governor. He promised he was going to carry women along. He promised he was going to carry the youth along. And I tell you today proudly that in the whole of the 19 states of the north, it is only Taraba that has 7 women in its cabinet. And I can assure you, more are going to come in subsequent appointments. If you look at the recent appointment we did for Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board, in the history of Taraba State, we've never had women more than 1. But this time we had 3 women out of a committee of 11 in the Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board. That is an indication that more will still come, and this governor is willing to carry the women and the youth along. We are enrolling them into SMEs. The Ministry of Social Welfare and Cooperatives is coming up with a robust program where we are going to have packages for women to be independent of their husbands, independent of government, have something to do to take care of their immediate families.
The women gave their own assurances that they will continue to inspire the girl child to fight for the cause of women to accelerate progress through education.
To education matters, the federal government is reaffirming its commitment to ensuring that issues of unlicensed and illegal universities in the country are eradicated. A committee tasked with identifying the causes of degree racketeering and those responsible for degree mills is expected to submit its report to the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, later this month. In January, the National Universities Commission published a list of 58 universities operating without a license. The special report looks at the situation and efforts by the government to tackle the menace.
The road is dusty in a clustered area of Dutse, a satellite town under Buhari Area Council, as our crew embarks on a search of an unlicensed university operating in the area. Finally, the facility used for the operation is located. The premises that once housed a primary school is now used by a degree-awarding institution, albeit there's no signboard to indicate the name of the institution. However, the place is under lock and key, and a resident of the area confirms that he is a 200-level student of the institution studying healthcare management. Nevertheless, he declines to speak on camera. In Outer Balefi, a community in Karo local government area of Nasarawa State, our crew observed another institution. However, the school management, explains that the institution does not award degrees.
What we offer here, we run here is diploma programs.
In its January 8 bulletin, the National Universities Commission published a list of 58 legal universities. The list includes 18 degree mill institutions affiliated to universities in Ghana, the US, and the United Kingdom. The situation is worsened by an investigative report highlighting how an undercover journalist procured a Bachelor of Science in Mass Communication from a university in Benin Republic within 6 weeks and used the certificate to participate in the one-year mandatory National Youth Service Corps without being detected by the authorities.
Yeah, leadership is on there yet. Yes.
One of the institutions on the list is the Kaduna Business School, and the management explains that the school does not award degrees.
It could be that there was misjudgment somewhere from the account of the work of the investigative journalist in 2018. NUC claims that there was an overture between Kaduna State, under the, support of the then governor of Kaduna State, Madam Nasir El-Rufai, that look, if Kaduna Business, such a prestigious institution, exists here, running at a private capacity, and we have the Kaduna State University, is there anything wrong with creating a sort of an alliance because of proximity?
The regulatory body is vowing to checkmate the activities of unlicensed universities.
And subsequently, that we had to put together a state of the affairs report to the Federal Executive Council, a very detailed report where we alerted the nation on the nefarious activities and that we argued that there were repercussions and consequences if not nipped in the bud.
To tackle the menace, the Federal Ministry of Education set up an interministerial committee to identify the causes, fish out the culprits, and recommend solutions to the menace. The committee was set up on January 8 and has a 10-week mandate to conclude the task.
We are already working on being vigilant on the internal mechanisms for those who try to sneak into the country. But for those who go offshore, for those ones, we want to strengthen the system such that nobody can bypass or come in whatsoever with such qualifications and get any recognition whatsoever.
The ministerial committee is expected to report back to the education minister by mid-March with appropriate recommendations that will strengthen the nation's university system and ensure quality assurance of degrees in Nigeria.
Time to find out what's up in the world of business. Laddie Williams has all those details.
Thanks, Melinda. In business news, a UK-based research firm, the Economist Intelligence Unit, has revised upward its growth forecast for Nigeria from 2.2% to 2.5%. In its March 2024 report, the Analysis and Advisory Services Division of the Economist Group attributes the optimistic outlook, which comes despite sharper than expected monetary tightening in February, on the premise of higher than previously expected crude oil output, as well as likely impact of the Dangote refinery. However, the EIU listed some key risks for Nigeria that could severely impact economic stability and development in the months ahead, which include the Naira crossing the 2,000 Naira mark against the dollar by the end of this year, and the possibility of Boko Haram activity spreading from the northeast to central, as well as the likelihood of social unrest in the country. Meanwhile, the EIU says a faster growth of 3.5% for the country is forecasted for 2025. And Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves grew further this week as the gross level increased by $347 million week on week to $34.11 billion as of March the 7th. This comes after the CBN continued with its initiatives at the forex market, which include ensuring that Naira assets are attractive to foreign and domestic participants to drive capital importation, as well as renewed interventions which further reduce the FX backlog. Meanwhile, a recent report by the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that the country recorded an increase in foreign exchange inflow last month, with increments in remittance payments by Nigerians overseas and purchases of Naira assets by foreign portfolio investors. And still within the foreign exchange market, trading at the FMDQ exchange closed positive this week as the total turnover of forex transactions carried out rose by 2.64% week on week to $1.27 billion as of March the 8th. The week on week increase in the total turnover was driven by a 5.33% increase in the FX spot turnover, despite the 93.78% decrease in FX derivatives turnover. Meanwhile, on the other side of the market, and that's talking about the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange fixing, the Naira appreciated by 0.49% to 1,589 Naira 96 kobo against the dollar, and the official exchange rate window, in contrast to 1,597 Naira 96 kobo recorded in the previous week. And the domestic stock market ended the first trading week of March strongly positive, with a 2.61% and 6.03% increase in the all-share index and overall market value. This came largely due to gains from bellwether stocks such as MTN Nigeria, Boa Cement, FBN Holdings, and newly listed company Corp Power, which drove the NGX year-to-date performance higher to 35.5%. However, performance on the sectoral indexes table was mostly negative, as the industrial good recorded a lone gain of 1.59%. Corp Power was top out of 22 gainers with more than 46% gain on its share price. Guinness led 55 other losers with a 17.55% loss, while the indigenous conglomerate Transco, its power subsidiary, as well as UBA, were the major contributors to a total of 2.15 billion equities traded this week. Meanwhile, trading activities at the NESD OTC exchange ended in the red zone for the week as the market's key index fell by more than 5%, while the overall value dropped by 80 billion naira due to profit taken by investors. The losses were attributed to price declines in securities such as Resources IGI, UBN Property, and Akeredolu Holdings, which offset the gains from Afriland Properties, WAMCO, Central Securities Clearing Systems, and Geofluids. At the end of the trading week, the total volume of securities traded on the OTC exchange dropped by 151.68%, and the value traded was down by 49%, while the number of deals carried out from the 12 securities dipped by more than 33%. Now, here are some expectations in the Nigerian financial market for next week. I'll begin with the bonds market, where sell pressure is expected to linger as system liquidity remains depressed while investors await February inflation report. At the same time, market participants will focus attention on the March 2024 bond auction holding within this month. Now, the Treasury bills market yields are expected to contract amid excess liquidity. Also, the CBN is scheduled to roll over 161 billion naira maturing bills at the NTB primary market auction on Wednesday, 13th of March. For the money market, the overnight rate is expected to trend downward as principal and coupon payments for 771 billion naira federal government March 2024 maturing bond is expected to support the system liquidity. And finally, at the equities market, positive sentiment is expected to continue on the back of earnings releases from the listed banks and potential dividend declarations. And that's business news. Back to Melinda with the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Ladi. Time to cross over to our Abuja studios, where Victoria Longjohn is standing by with the latest from the world of sports.
Thank you, Melinda. Welcome to Sports News. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will take on Ghana's Black Stars and the Eagles of Mali in 2 top-grade friendly matches in the Moroccan city of Marrakech later this month. The clash with Ghana's Black Stars comes up on Friday, March 22nd, while the encounter with Mali comes up on Tuesday, March 26th. Meanwhile, the 3-time African champions have retained the bulk of the squad that finished as runners-up at the last Africa Cup of Nations for the 2 friendlies, but have recalled Jamilu Collins as well as Tyrone Ebuehi and Cyril Dessers. English Premier League draw of Wilfred Ndidi and Taiwo Awoniyi, who missed the continental tournament, also made the team. England-based defender Gabriel Osho and Tanzanian-based Benjamin Tenimu are teaming up with the group for the first time. In the English Premier League, Kai Havertz scored late as Arsenal earned a statement win over Brentford, which puts them top of the table. Havertz scored in his 4th consecutive game to put Arsenal a point clear of Liverpool and 2 ahead of Manchester City. Manchester United bounced back to winning ways to keep their Champions League hopes for next season alive with a 2-0 victory over Everton. Wolverhampton Wanderers improved their prospects of qualifying for Europe next season with a 2-1 win against Fulham. Corley Woodrow scored a last-minute leveller to take Luton Town to within 3 points of safety with a 2-2 draw at Crystal Palace. Enes Unal's stoppage time equaliser rescued a point for Bournemouth and denied Sheffield United a precious 3 points in their fight for survival. And Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp has hailed Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola as the best manager of his lifetime as he prepares his team for what could be the final chapter in their captivating rivalry at Anfield on Sunday. Manchester City have won 5 out of the past 6 Premier League titles, but Liverpool have been their main rivals over the last decade, snatching the crown in 2020. Klopp said Guardiola, whose team are chasing a 2nd successive treble of Champions League, Premier League and the FA Cup, was outstanding in many aspects. The 56-year-old German has a winning record against Guardiola, coming out on top 12 times against 11 in their 29 meetings.
The way he influenced football. Is just that, the way he influenced football. Then winning the amount of trophies he won in his career, what you feel like when you see him on the touchline, or he behaves like you've never won anything before. So like the desire he has, that's absolutely outstanding. He's outstanding in so many aspects. I know that. I do the job myself, so I see excellence when I face it. How could I judge managers from the past? But in my lifetime, he's the outstanding manager, definitely.
Meanwhile, Manchester City Pep Guardiola has maintained he is ready for the challenge as he takes the Premier League champions Liverpool for a crucial title showdown on Sunday. Manchester City goes into the game as favourites to win the title for what will be a 4th successive season and a 6th time in 7 years, but their record is at Anfield is poor. Manchester City have won just once there in front of a crowd since 1981. Guardiola's selection for the Midweek Champions League stroll against FC Copenhagen, in which he made 7 changes, suggested he had an eye on Anfield. And that's it on Sports News. Is now back to you, Elinda.
Many thanks, Victoria. On the international scene, some respite has come for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, as Sweden and Canada have said that they will resume aid payments to the organization. Both were among 16 countries that stopped payments after Israel accused 12 of its staff of being involved in the October 7th deadly attack by Hamas. Sweden announced today that it will send $19 million initially after the agency agreed to put more checks on its spending and staff. Sweden's decision comes after Canada said it would restart funding for UNRWA while investigations into the agency's staff continue. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says the amount of aid reaching civilians have plummeted, while the UN warned that a quarter of the territory's population is on the brink of famine. 4 people have died and 2 others have been injured after a residential building in Alexandra's Wardian neighborhood collapsed. Civil defense personnel and volunteers removed the rubble from the collapsed building amid heavy security presence. According to the head of the West Alexandria area in Egypt, Zahar Shaban, the neighborhood's engineering department had previously issued a directive which recommended removing the 2 upper floors of the building and restoring the others. But the residents of the collapsed building ignored this and failed to implement the decisions. And the main news again. Sokoto State today joined the list of states launching security outfits to tackle rising insecurity in the country. Governor Ahmad Aliyu vowed that the Community Guard Corps will ensure safety of residents and called for the collaboration of all to achieve the desired objectives. The Vice President Kashim Shettima has restated federal government's commitment to rescuing over 200 students as well as a teacher abducted by bandits from their school in Kuriga community of Jukun local government area of Kaduna State. And the remains of former Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC, Herbert Wigway, his wife Chizoba and son Chizi have been laid to rest in his hometown of Isiokpo River State after a week-long funeral rites. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Akinlami on behalf of the team. Good night.